Imagine this. You're standing in the airport security line, bags on the belt, shoes off, and suddenly TSA pulls you aside because of your medication. Would you know exactly what to do? Well, in 2025, the rules around traveling with medications are clearer than ever, but there are still a few surprising details that can trip people up. That's why today, we're breaking down the 8 most important medication travel hacks every senior should know this year, including the brand new TSA updates that most travelers have no clue about. We'll keep it simple, easy to follow, and yes, just a little bit funny, because laughter is always the best medicine. So let's get started. 1. TSA 2025. Rulebook, what actually changed? Here's the good news. TSA is actually medication friendly. Despite all the horror stories you may have heard, you are allowed to bring your prescriptions with you, both in your carry-on and your checked luggage. But here's the catch. Carry-on is always the smarter choice. Bags get lost, flights get rerouted, and the last thing you want is your blood pressure pills sitting in an airport warehouse somewhere in Denver. Now, pills and solid medications? Unlimited. You can bring as many as you need, no daily pill counting, no limit 2 bottles per passenger nonsense. They just need to go through screening like everything else. If you'd rather not run certain meds through the X-ray, you can politely request a visual inspection. Just make sure you ask before your bag slides onto the belt. One myth worth busting. TSA does not require prescription bottles when flying inside the US. A pill organizer, a zip bag, even a pocket case, all fine. That said, some states, and certainly other countries, have stricter labeling rules, so keeping labels when you can is still a smart backup. As for liquids, that famous 311 rule doesn't apply to medically necessary items. Prescription liquids, gels, injectables, all exempt as long as you declare them. What has changed since the pandemic, though, is that the big sanitizer exception is gone. Back to normal limits there. And yes, even nitroglycerin tablets are allowed. TSA recognizes their medical use, just maybe don't make jokes about explosives while standing in the security line. That one never lands well. 2. Pill organizers versus original bottles. Which one wins? When it comes to packing, this is the big showdown. Pill organizers versus those bulky original bottles. For travel inside the US, here's the truth. TSA doesn't care. Daily case, weekly sorter, even one of those giant rainbow pill boxes your grandkids laugh at. All fine. Security is checking for dangerous items, not counting out your cholesterol tablets. But, and it's a big but, TSA isn't the only authority out there. Some states have rules about controlled substances, pain medications, anxiety meds, anything with stricter regulations. Those are safest kept in their original labeled containers. That way, if a local officer or pharmacy questions you, you've got proof right in your hand. Now, once you leave the US, the story changes. Many countries do expect your meds to be in the original packaging with your name on the label. Customs officers abroad are not impressed by a Ziploc bag full of mystery pills. The safest play? Use your organizer for convenience, but also pack a few labeled bottles separately as backup. Think of it this way. The organizer keeps you on schedule. The labeled bottles keep you out of trouble. A little redundancy can save a whole lot of stress when you're halfway across the world. 3. Carry-on versus checked bags. Your health insurance policy. If there's one golden rule of traveling with medication, it's this. Never trust your health to the airline baggage system. Checked bags get lost, they get delayed, and sometimes they sit in cargo holds that feel like saunas or freezers. Not exactly the best environment for your heart meds. That's why every travel expert, and yes, even TSA themselves, will tell you, keep your essential medications in your carry-on, or better yet, right on your person. Think about it. If you need an inhaler mid-flight, you don't want it packed away under the plane. Same goes for daily or emergency meds. They should always be within arm's reach. Here's a smart move if you're traveling with a companion. Split your supplies between both carry-ons. That way, if one bag goes missing, you've still got a backup. It's like built-in travel insurance for your health. Now what about the non-essentials? Vitamins, supplements, or that extra bottle of aspirin? Sure, those can go in checked luggage if you're tight on space. Just make sure that losing them wouldn't actually affect your health. And if you do check them, cushion them in waterproof containers to handle temperature swings and the not-so-gentle baggage handlers. Bottom line, your medications are not souvenirs or spare socks. Treat them like your passport, close, protected, and never out of sight. 4. The liquid exception. beyond the 311 rule. Now here's where a lot of travelers breathe a sigh of relief. That famous 311 rule, the one that limits liquids to 3.4 ounces in a quart-sized bag, does not apply to medically necessary items. That means your prescription liquids, creams, syrups, even injectables, all exempt. You can bring what you reasonably need for the trip. No need to pour your 8-ounce nasal spray into a travel bottle. The trick is how you handle them at security. When you reach the checkpoint, let the officer know you're carrying medical liquids. Take them out of your bag, place them separately in a bin, and be ready for a quick swab or inspection. No quart-sized bag required. Traveling with injectables like insulin or EpiPens, totally allowed. Just keep them with their related medications and declare them if asked. If you're carrying something less common or anything that looks unusual in a syringe, having a doctor's note can smooth the process. It's not always required, but it can save you time and questions. And if your meds need to stay cold, good news. Cooling packs are fine, as long as they're frozen solid when you go through screening. Melted ice packs fall under the liquid rules, so toss them in the freezer the night before your flight. Bottom line, TSA handles medical liquids every single day. If you declare, separate, and keep things organized, you'll be through security with your meds in no time. 5. Medical devices and accessories, CPAPs, pumps, and beyond. For many seniors, it's not just about pills, it's about traveling with medical devices. And the good news is, TSA sees these items every single day. They know how to handle them, as long as you know how to prepare. Let's start with CPAP machines. If you use one for sleep apnea, it doesn't count toward your carry-on limit. You can bring it in its own case, just like a laptop. At security, you'll need to take it out for screening, and TSA may swab it for explosives. Pro tip, pack it in a clear plastic bag to keep things sanitary, and always empty the water tank before you travel. Now, insulin pumps and other wearable devices. Some of these shouldn't go through X-ray machines or body scanners depending on manufacturer instructions. If that's the case, tell TSA before you go through, request a pat-down, and show them your device ID card. They deal with this all the time. Pacemakers fall into the same category. Just let the agent know and ask for an alternative screening. Having your device ID card ready saves time and questions. As for portable oxygen concentrators, airlines generally allow them, and they're often exempt from carry-on limits. If you'll need it during the flight, carry the FAA approval letter and extra batteries in your hand luggage only. And here's a little-known bonus. TSA has a program called TSA Cares. If you're traveling with medical needs, you can call them at least 72 hours before your flight, and they'll assign someone to help guide you through security. It makes the whole process smoother and far less stressful. The bottom line here? Plan ahead, bring your documentation, and don't be shy about speaking up. TSA officers see these devices every day, and they're trained to assist you, but only if you let them know what you need. 6. Documentation. Your backup plan. Packing your medications is one thing, but having the right paperwork is what keeps a small hiccup from turning into a full-blown travel nightmare. Start with a simple medication list. Write down the names, dosages, and how often you take them. Keep one copy in your wallet and another digital version on your phone. Even snapping photos of your pill labels can give you a quick reference if something gets misplaced. For controlled medications or anything that might raise questions, carry copies of your prescriptions. A doctor's letter can also go a long way, especially if you're traveling with injectables or a more complex treatment. Think of it as your permission slip for airport security and foreign customs. If you're heading abroad, don't forget the language barrier. Apps and translation cards that list your medications in the local language can save a lot of explaining at a foreign pharmacy or checkpoint. And knowing the generic names of your medications is critical, since brand names often vary from country to country. Finally, pack your safety net. Emergency contacts, your doctor's phone number, insurance information, and, if you like, a TSA medical notification card. It's optional, but it gives officers a quick heads up without you having to say much. Bottom line, treat your documentation like you treat your medications. Keep it organized, keep it handy, and it'll have your back when you need it most. 7. International travel. Playing by their rules. Here's where things get tricky. Once you step outside the US, your pill organizer doesn't make the rules anymore. The local customs office does. Plenty of medications that are perfectly normal here can raise red flags abroad. For example, some common cold and sinus remedies or ADHD medications that are widely prescribed in the US are banned or tightly controlled in countries like Japan, the United Arab Emirates, and Singapore. Showing up with them in your bag could land you in some very uncomfortable conversations at customs. That's why research is your best friend. Before you fly, check the embassy website of your destination. And don't forget about countries you're just connecting through. Sometimes even a layover means you're subject to their rules. Quantity matters too. Many countries only allow you to bring a 30 to 90-day personal supply of any prescription. More than that, and it can look like you're importing or selling, which is the last impression you want to give at the border. To make life easier, ask your pharmacist for travel-size bottles with labels. They're smaller, lighter, and still show your name and prescription details. Customs officers are far more comfortable with an official-looking label than a baggie of unlabeled pills. And if you discover that one of your essential medications is banned where you're going, don't panic. Talk to your doctor about possible alternatives or reach out to the destination's embassy. Sometimes you can get special approval paperwork in advance, but that process can take weeks, so start early. Bottom line, international travel means playing by their rules, not ours. Do your homework, pack smart, and you'll spend your trip enjoying the sights instead of explaining your prescriptions at customs. 8. Timing and storage. Beating jet lag and heat-crossing time zones isn't just tough on your sleep, it can throw your medication schedule out of rhythm too. The fix? Set alarms on your phone before you travel. Some seniors even use 2 alarms, one set to home time and one to local time, until they adjust. A pill organizer can also help you keep track when your body clock is saying breakfast, but the clock says midnight. Storage matters just as much. Medications like consistency. Cool, dry places, away from direct sunlight. Don't toss all your pills together into one giant bottle. Keep them in their original or travel-size containers to avoid confusion. If you're traveling with insulin or other temperature-sensitive medications, plan ahead. Insulated pouches, cooling wallets, or frozen gel packs, remember frozen solid at TSA, can keep them safe in transit. Never check these. Luggage holds can get brutally hot or freezing cold. Keep them with you in the cabin where conditions are stable. And for peace of mind, consider a small travel lock or tamper-proof bag for your meds. It won't just protect against theft, it'll keep curious hotel staff or airport security from casually rifling through your medication supply. Bottom line, the right timing keeps you healthy, and the right storage keeps your meds effective. With both in place, you can focus on enjoying the journey instead of worrying about your pill schedule. 9. Real-world scenarios, the what-ifs. Sometimes the best way to understand the rules is to see what happens when people don't follow them. Picture this. A traveler arrives in Dubai with a baggie full of unlabeled pills. Perfectly legal prescriptions back home, but no labels, no paperwork. Customs pulls him aside, questions him for hours, and his vacation starts with stress, sweat, and paperwork. Not fun. Now compare that with another traveler. Same destination, same medications, but she packed them in pharmacy-labeled bottles, carried a doctor's note, and even had her medication list printed out. Customs glanced at her paperwork, waved her through, and she was at her hotel sipping tea while the first traveler was still filling out forms. The difference? Preparation. A few minutes of organization back home can save hours, or even days, of hassle abroad. Bottom line, you can't predict every what-if scenario. But you can stack the odds in your favor by having your meds packed, labeled, and documented before you ever step on the plane. 10. Ultimate checklist. Before you fly. Alright, let's land this plane with the final piece. Your ultimate pre-flight medication checklist. First, refill early. Pharmacies can run out, and insurance companies sometimes delay authorizations. Don't leave it until the day before your trip. Second, pack extras. A good rule of thumb is at least 1 week's worth beyond your trip length, just in case of delays, cancellations, or missed connections. Third, double-check the little essentials. Inhalers, EpiPens, needles, test strips. It's the small items that are easiest to forget and the hardest to replace abroad. Fourth, keep your safety net handy. That means your insurance information, your doctor's contact number, and a copy of your prescriptions tucked somewhere safe. And finally, remember this. When you prepare the right way, your medications stop being a source of stress and just become another part of your carry-on. Bottom line, Preparation turns your meds into a non-issue so you can focus on enjoying the journey instead of worrying about it. Traveling with medications in 2025 isn't scary. It's all about knowing the rules, planning smart, and giving yourself peace of mind before you even leave the house. At the end of the day, your health should be your travel companion, not your travel headache. So if this breakdown helped you feel more confident, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe for more travel hacks just like this. Here's to safe, stress-free adventures wherever the road or the skies take you.